In the midst of the Attorney General's criminal investigation against Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio, Governor Eddie Calvo says he's disappointed that Tenorio grabbed a police officer's handgun in Tumon on Saturday night. Yet he's glad Tenorio's been open and contrite, and he stands by his second in command. But does the governor plan to relieve the lieutenant governor from his official duties as overseer of public safety?
No, I don't. I think you should let things run their course, and they are. At the same time, we understand that this is a heated political season, and there's enough falsehoods coming to our administration from varying sources that, we don't need to step on our own feet. So I talked to the lieutenant governor about it, and again, he was contrite, but as he works towards continuing on his campaign for the governorship, we also have, we have a little bit less than half a year left in my administration. And we gotta keep our eyes on the ball and ensure that we get the work done for the people.
And tonight, part 2 of our interview with Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio on what caused him to grab a policeman's gun from its holster. It's a situation that raises a life and death question about the point at which a drinking person becomes too judgment impaired to handle a gun. Here's more. At what point do guns and booze become a bad idea? PNC asked Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio that question several times in his office yesterday, following revelations that he had been drinking when he unholstered a cop's gun at the annual barbecue block party in Tumon last weekend. He insisted, after repeated questions, that he drank only 2 or 3 beers over a 4-hour period.
Okay, there are rumors out there that you had as many as 10. That's not true.
I'm sorry, I had about 2 or 3. People give me beers, I don't finish it, I put them down, somebody else gives me another one, but I had 2 or 3 beers over the course of the night.
But not only does Tenorio insist he wasn't drunk, he would not admit that liquor plus loaded is a dangerous blend.
Would you agree that alcohol and firearms are a bad mix?
I apologize for what happened that night. I take full responsibility, but I was not intoxicated.
Well, Lieutenant Governor, would you agree that alcohol and firearms are a bad mix?
But I was not intoxicated. I had a couple beers that night, for sure, but I was not intoxicated, and it was a safety concern for me. And if any other person had taken that firearm who had other intentions, my intentions were purely to make sure the safety of the officer and the public. And I took full responsibility for it, and I apologized to the officer for it and to everyone else. I immediately gave it back to him after removing it from the holster.
Tenorio's reticence to discuss the volatility of handling clipped weapons while imbibing alcohol follows a tragedy that struck close to home. Tenorio lost his friend and driver to the lethal mix of a loaded handgun and uncontrollable drunkenness. After a night of clubbing and drinking 3 years ago, police officer Mark Torrey Jr.'s pistol discharged into fellow officer Albert Piolo's underarm and into his chest after Piolo pulled up to drop Torrey home. Torrey lost his badge and earned an 8-year sentence for negligent homicide. Piolo lost his life and earned a posthumous promotion to sergeant. Piolo had been Tenorio's executive security driver. But Tenorio draws no comparison between that tragedy and the danger of his own gun grab.
But the situation is very different. I hope this doesn't conjure up the memories of that tragedy. He was a friend.
But as PNC reported yesterday, former staffer to the Calvo Tenorio administration, Troy Torres, filed a police complaint stating that Tenorio was clearly inebriated and visibly intoxicated at Saturday night's block party, and laying out a laundry list of charges stemming from the police gun-grabbing incident. If Tenorio was drunk, the threat levels of the two situations may be more parallel than the lieutenant governor can bring himself to acknowledge, and that he may be lucky to be alive.
In hindsight, this teaching moment was mine.
If any lesson has been learned, perhaps it's this: never touch a police officer's gun, regardless of who you are, no matter how much or how little you've had to drink, and that it could soon be a felony to do so.
Our public safety officers, they have a responsibility to the public. And when someone, doesn't matter who, no matter the individual, they have the right to enforce the law. So if someone tries to grab for your sidearm or disarm an officer, there's due cause to take the individual down. It doesn't matter who you are, what position you hold. Yes, yesterday we wrote a bill to ensure that anyone who tries to seize a firearm from a police officer or any public safety officer, it be recognized as a felony, and so legal is reviewing that right now.